Hey, Warrior Saints, it is very good for us to be here together, all of us right now, doing what we're doing. Welcome to today's Crucifixional Life stream. I'm glad to have you beautiful people in with us, and a blessed feast of St. Herman of Alaska. St. Herman was a beautiful saint who came into this country through the Alaskan territory at that time, or what was known as Russian America. And he became like this missionary saint. He came with all of the Russians that were leaving from Russia and the Bering Strait and just hopping right over into Alaska. And they were fur trappers and hunters and doing all of their work there. And he came as a missionary from the Vallam Monastery to help bring their church with them, bring their religion with them, bring their faith with them. And while he was there, he started preaching. And let's say it this way. If you look on a map of the United States, and they have all the different colors for the different religions, St. Herman's work in Alaska has produced it that Alaska is the only state where Orthodoxy actually gets named and isn't just part of other. It's the only state in the United States where Orthodoxy is large enough large enough to be counted because of all of the work that he did there, because of his efforts, because of his missionary journeys, because he chose to be a light. He chose to bring that light of Christ that we talked about yesterday and to share it with people. We heard yesterday, as we were looking, about the two choices that we have, light or dark. Are we going to choose to walk in darkness, or are we going to choose to walk in light? And now we're going to take it a step further. How do we become that light? And we're going to look in verses 8 through 10 of chapter 5 of Ephesians. We hear the following. For once you were darkness, but now you are light in the Lord. Walk as children of light, for the fruit of light is found in all that is good and right and true, and try to learn what is pleasing to the Lord. St. Herman becomes a beautiful example of that light, becomes a beautiful example of what it means for us to go and share that light, to spread that word of God, to do what is good and pleasing unto God. Where do we start? Where do we start that process? Because for every single one of us, we all think that what we are doing is right. We all think that what we are doing is light. We all assume that whatever actions we are taking are well-pleasing to God, right? We all assume that my idea is the best idea and my idea is the only right idea. We all, in our good intentions, think that everything that I think is the way to do it is the only way to do it. Therefore, everyone else's way of doing it is wrong. But it's very interesting because that's not what we are told to do. What we're told to do in that verse 10 is to try to find what is pleasing to the Lord. That means that we cannot be the reference. That means that we cannot be the one who is the gauge, who determines that what is right or what is going or what has to be done. We have to go beyond that. And we have to be willing to recognize that everyone else thinks the same thing. Everyone else is thinking that what they're doing is the right thing. And we're going to explore this in an upcoming video on our WOW's Way of the Warrior Saint subscription series. So if you want to see more on this and how to flesh that out, visit us, warriorsaints.org, and subscribe to the Way of the Warrior Saint and get there. I'm going to give you a little bit of a preview of what we're going to talk about. Coming from St. Paul's letter to the Galatians that we read today in honor of the feast of St. Herman. And in that letter to the Galatians, he says, look to yourself, lest you too be tempted. Galatians chapter 6, verse 1. Look to yourself, lest you too be tempted. It begins by looking inward, but not looking inward and referencing inward, but looking inward and gauging what we're doing based on the commandments of God as walking that light, trying to find what is pleasing to God. So join us. Visit us, warriorsaints.org. Subscribe to the Way of the Warrior Saint. Walk with us as we're trying to find what is pleasing to the Lord. Walk with us as we're trying to be the light ourselves. And until we see you tomorrow, keep walking on the Way of the Warrior Saint.